All right, so topic of the day is guns. The reason why I say this is because I did something today that I did not want to have to do, but frankly, due to the abuse and the power dynamics that happen in families and fights over money and favors, when someone chooses money or material possessions over relationships, in my opinion, you must burn them, you must humble them, you must humiliate them. And in my experience, and as I'd say by military standards, again, if someone values something more than another person's life, you burn them. You make an example of them, because what's it about? Is about keeping each other alive. It's not about favoritism or nepotism. And guns are a part of Canadian identity. And I know those who are going to watch this and they're going to, some of the parties involved will understand what is going on. But I shall not disclose any further details for the sake of brevity, and also for the safety of those involved. But frankly, when you have to get the police involved or the legal system in order to defend yourself, it's an absolute tragedy. It should never end up in that way. And they've got enough problems. Less individuals have to deal with a mediary of the legal system. But that's what they're there for, is to prevent violence, right? The cops are there to prevent violence. They're not there. They're not there to be a means of manipulation, as some people use them, but I do not. I'm very thankful for your presence and your duty. Speaking from someone that has experienced abuse in the past and has had to do dirty dealings, and as someone that's been through a lot of unnecessary harm, to my psyche and to my body and to my family, for the sake of other people's profits and for the sake of other people's pursuits of power, which are therein lie abuses, negligence, and incompetence. Because frankly, when people are stupid and they think that they have power, they use force over others. And that's not the point of owning guns, right? Both of my uncles, actually all three of my uncles on my mother's side, have in-depth experience and knowledge. And I, with my training from the age of 13 years old with cadets, with the Daisy rifles, implicitly knew the dangers and the responsibilities of having something that can kill. And if you ask me if I've killed something before, yes, I've killed a rabbit in Scotland. I did. I hunted one down amongst a pack of them, and I shot it from about 75 yards away. And I've shot a lot of powerful firearms, and I understand what that recoil means, as do many veterans and many law enforcement officers and first responders. Gun owners are everywhere in Canada. Farmers, guns are for everybody, as far as I'm concerned. If we're going to get into politics and the propaganda of the anti-gun legislation, and also that message that guns kill people, and that we need to do away with automatic weapons or semi-automatic weapons or something like that in order to prevent suicides or civil war or racial hatred and so on and so forth, or to to inspire less paranoia. But this isn't the truth. The reality of the situation is that some people need guns. They're very vulnerable, and it's the only way to make the the equity of opportunity. And that I much prefer a United States style, minus the lacking of mental health assessment, the the psychological assessment part that's involved with the training. So I don't want people going straight out to the gun store and buying something like a drop gun, like a piece of crap, and then shooting someone and throwing it away. Or if you want to get to the comedy aspect, I think about what's it? The bullet should cost $5,000. Chris Rock, I believe. And I know there's people that are in very high positions, in very lowly positions, that watch these videos because they're going to be up here forever. And I have friends everywhere because of my profession and because of my character. So I got nothing to prove to anybody. And, I've been through a lot of shit in my life, as I've stated, and I'm very well, mentally stable, as you can tell through these videos, as attribution to my character and to my state of mind, and recovering from burnout and seasonal depression and other issues that which would not cause me to want to run to the gun cabinet and pop one in my skull. Because frankly, suicide is cancer that spreads the grief to everybody else. I highlight this in other videos, and I have no desire to continue on with any kind of behavior that might implicate that. I'm more concerned about other people and their proximity to these things because of their behaviors and their inabilities to change, or their unwillingness to change. And this is kind of the intervention stage, because if you don't do something about it, and someone tries to leverage you, especially over firearms, if this is person to person or government to citizen, then the legal system is the best way. This is why we have it. This is why we have civilized society, is to keep the violence at an arm's length. Right? This is why we have the armed forces, is because there's people out there that want to take advantage of us, and that we must defend our own borders and our own citizens and our own institutions. Otherwise, we allow anarchy to happen, and then just the killing starts. And that's the way it always goes, because once all the weapons are gone, people just find more, all of the firearms anyways, people just find more interesting ways to hurt each other or to manipulate each other. This is why there's a nuclear proliferation treaty with the standoff weapons and so on and so forth. The the threat of mutual annihilation. Yeah. I got again, I'm very well trained. I'm highly disciplined, and you can't stop me from becoming who I want to be. No one can, because I have so many people behind me. I do, fighting for me, and I'm fighting for them. Because if we don't do this together, then the onslaught of these varying types of propaganda that are inspired and supported by foreign actors will continue to destroy Canadian society and our identity and our way of living. Because, and as I said before, guns are a part of this. Hunting is a part of it, and I don't need a gun to kill an animal. I know how to trap and snare. I was taught this through survival techniques in scouts and also in cadets, when these things were still allowed and still communicated and taught. It may not be the same way as it is now. There's some people out there that think some artists out there that I really like, that again think that guns are the problem, but mental health is the issue, right? The stability and the well-being of every individual, in order to prevent them from going off the deep end and becoming radicalized and performing acts of, say, shooting up schools or churches or public institutions or our centers of high learning, say like the Montreal Massacre. Or the Nova Scotia bullshit. They knew this fella very well. They knew what was going on, and they due to incompetence and due to again human nature, laziness, complacency, and how psychopathic people and even sociopathic people, even everyday people, are able to manipulate each other for favors and in a dominance in a hierarchy of dominance and incompetence. Honestly, this is why I much preferred, when I was around the military, when you're around people that are competent and understand, everybody communicates. And again, around aircraft mechanics, I very much appreciate my brothers and my sisters in the trades, because if we don't, it's at such a high level with other engineers, with the Baker's Dirty Dozen, that we're irreplaceable. Every one of these people is irreplaceable, whether I like it or not, whether I like them or not, and so on and so forth. We all have a part to play on this football field, so to speak. Just to put it into other words. I can't really rant on this too much, because everybody, anyone that's really concerned about firearms in Canada is well versed. I recommend Runkle the Bailey on YouTube and CCFR for further learning. They've done volumes of work on this stuff, and there's other small channels as well. For which I can't remember at this time. I'm sorry if I forget about you. But we live in a new era where no one can hide, because the information is the first weapon. Right? My tongue, I'd rather use my tongue and my intellect first than I would the bow staff that, this dowel that's in the corner over there. This curtain rod. It's not a. This is not a weapon. This is a curtain rod. But you can fashion anything into a weapon, right? This is why I'm drilling ceremonial. That the band leader, the DSM, right? Carries a mace. And the commanders carry sabers. And like I said, it's very easy for tradespeople to reforge weapons from other materials and other items. We don't need guns anymore. It's very easy to obtain drawings and blueprints for coil guns, microwaves, and rail guns, and even high energy lasers. If you have the platform and enough amperage and enough ingenuity, to be a vehicle mounted to approximate something similar to a military platform, and of the same capacity, so like a microwave array. It's all about knowledge, right? I'd rather fight with my intellect than I would with these or my lower limbs. I got better things to do than to get into conflicts. But when you have stupid people around you who want to force their way around and choose money over family, and want to choose material objects over family out of anxiety or whatever other motivating factors, so to speak, to advance themselves or secure their position in life, I really don't have time for that anymore. I really don't. That's what it is to be a man, is to stand up for something, because if you don't stand up for something, you'll fall for anything, as is the principle in the turn of phrase. So again, this anti-gun propaganda just ain't flying, man. I'm not going to let it fly, so to speak. So if I have the powers of an ACA, and someone comes up to me and says, can that aircraft fly? And I give them a reason, they say, no, put it into service, they would say, fuck you. It's not safe to do that. I'm grounding your airplane, and you're going to sit here until it's fixed, because that's how it has to go. I'm serious. And if I wasn't serious before, and this is unintentional comedy, then so be it. You laugh at me all you want. I have nothing left to lose. I really don't. I'm not at the end of my rope. I'm just getting started here and really starting to change who I am. Because again, life on the road and as a contractor is very harsh, and you have to act like a criminal in some respects because of how the system works and how the manipulation tactics work, and coercion and so forth with the life factors and the economics and the economy. This is just the way it is. That's why things have to change, and I don't have to attribute anything or give any evidence. It's all there because we're in the age of information, and there are no secrets in the digital frontier. Again, this is all summaries of other videos, and I put this little blurb before, and so at the end of this, I'm going to keep this under 20 minutes. Probably closer to 17 minutes. I'm a highly trained individual. I'm trustworthy. And I don't need to be questioned unless questioned. And I will not engage unless engaged. This is my statement of defense if it happens to come to it. At this point on April 20th or any date there further upon scrutiny. Because I want to come to the defense of other people who are possibly in the same position. So you must lead by example, and just be the best person that you can be. That's all for now.